And dudes, what is up? And let's get ready for this Week 10 preview. This is your main grade A fantasy. And hey, before we get into Week 10, we're definitely going to talk about Week 9. Two words: Joe Mixon. 50, what was it? 55.8 FanDuel points. I think he had. Amazing day. This is up there with one of the great fantasy days of all time. We're probably talking about Adrian Peterson, Jamal Charles, I think, has the record for the biggest fantasy day. I don't know what it related to in FanDuel points, but I think ESPN standard scoring league, that man was like 59, so he almost dropped to 60. LaDainian Thompson, his MVP San Diego Charger days, like what he did yesterday, definitely didn't see happening. I didn't have none of him. I was worried more about getting Burrow stacks in the public leagues, and we'll just keep talking about some of these other guys that just keep booming. We're talking about Tyreek Hill. The Miami stack is still going, and we'll definitely get into that because both DraftKings and FanDuel, the talk in the fantasy world on the web pages and everything, they're just gonna make you have a decision. You can still pick them if you want, but it's gonna get difficult to what you can get to. So it's one of those you might want to wait till the end of the week to see what value you can get. Because right now they definitely boosted up those stacks. But a lot of top running backs are here with some good matchups. We'll definitely get into that as usual. But first, before we even talk about Week 10, I always start off with the schedule and who you're not gonna have. So as we get into this here, so Week 10 starting this Thursday. Obviously, we're talking about the main slate. Obviously, so for Week 10, we do not have no Atlanta, so no Tyler Algier, no Marcus Mariota, no Kyle Pitts, and most importantly, coming back, no Cordero Patterson. They're going against Carolina, so with Carolina, no streaming their defense, even though they didn't really do that well last week. I had quite a bit of them, and Miami were my main low paid options. So pretty much no Derek Moore. Uh, so that's pretty much it. As we go into that, only four teams on bye this week, so I think there's like 12 games on Sunday. So we got a little bit of a bigger 4 o'clock slate. There's three games instead of two, but the teams that are on bye, Cincinnati. So no Burrow, no Mixon. Obviously, there's no Chase, but no Higgins. No streaming the Cincinnati defense. New England, so no Ramondre Stevenson. No streaming their defense. New York, no Michael Carter. No streaming their defense either. And Baltimore, so no Lamar, and no streaming their defense either. And for the Sunday night matchup, the 8:20 game, Los Angeles at San Francisco. So no McCaffrey, no Debo, no Garoppolo, no Eckler, no Justin Herbert. Who knows if you're gonna get back Keenan Allen by then? Uh, Mike Williams, I think, is supposed to be out. I think that injury is supposed to have him out for at least 4 weeks. This should be week 3, so I guess both wide receivers are out again. No Gerald Everett, no San Francisco defense, and the Monday night game, no Taylor Heineke to Scary Terry stacks, no Curtis Samuel, and then obviously on Philly, no big dogs, no AJ Brown, no wow, his name just slipped me. No Jalen Hurts and any of those three running backs that get goal line touches, and no Dallas Goedert or Philly defense either. So let's get right into it. I normally start at running back, but the first thing that appeased to me was running back because when I saw the schedule, I kind of knew what was going to happen. So we're going to start there. Don't mind me. I'll be clicking back and forth. I'm playing the hockey slate as of right now. Things seem to be going okay. But, still too early to tell. The first two 7 o'clock games are just finishing the second period. Calgary's beating the Islanders 3-1. I made sure I covered my ass on that one, even though I did favor the Islanders in this one. Calgary seems to be. I knew there's going to be one of those games that Calgary was going to find their way. I don't have all the goals yet. I got a couple of their goals. They're doing most of the scoring. And Boston, who I thought was going to steam over a struggling St. Louis team at home, interesting 1-1 game. So we'll see. And then of course it's I think they just finished the first period. I got one of those goals in there too. It's Edmonton versus Washington. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, let's get into this schedule here. Running back. We'll start with the most expensive guy in the slate because he has the best matchup. Saquon Barkley. He's the number one matchup. He's the number. I think he's the number one player. He's the number one player to target. He's gonna have the most owned. He is going against the worst rush defense in the league in Houston. Real life wise, real stats, fantasy world. Saquon Barkley's 9,500, the top player on the slate. He is cash play. He is GPP play. Number one player on the slate. Next is Derrick Henry. I understand, me being a Denver fan, I think we can still beat Tennessee regardless. But Derrick Henry is just such a monster. He's going to give them a chance. But here's the thing. Denver is a world-class defense. But the thing is, do you forget that there was two games that Denver did allow two big rushing games. And guess what? When I say big rushing games, I'm here to give you truthful stats. Both Josh Jacobs and Travis Etienne, one, the other lost, both ran for over 150 yards. So if you got a good offensive line and you're dedicated to the run, you can pound the ball against Denver. The only thing is, Denver's good enough where they can stack that box and guard each one of those wide receivers one-on-one whenever they want. So is Derrick Henry a fade for me? I won't play him in cash. I definitely don't recommend playing him in cash. Can he have one of those games where he's like 18? Could this be an 18 for 80, 18 for 68 yard game? Yeah, it could be one of those games. If Denver stacks it right, I think they should play. I think defensively they should play that, which Denver does. But like I said, they've been susceptible to big time run performances. So I don't think Derrick Henry goes for 150 against Denver's defense. But I think because with the lack of weapons, because also Josh Jacobs and Travis Etienne are surrounded by decent weapons. Derrick Henry's not surrounded by much, and I think I don't recommend Derrick Henry as 100% fade, but I won't have him as much. But you gotta have him. Gotta take a chance. I think of the fact that he's going against Denver, he's definitely not gonna be as high on as Barkley. But 9,400 is right there. I mean, I'm definitely not putting those two together. Hell no. But Derrick Henry, nevertheless, is always worth a look. Always worth a look. Right under him, Nick Chubb against Miami, coming in at 9,000. Seems to be a good one there. Alvin Kamara to me has the next best matchup after Saquon. Alvin Kamara is at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh defense is not that good. 8,600. Once again, no Michael Thomas out for the year, so Alvin Kamara is definitely going to go back to his catching and running phase instead of just being a total running back, which puts him on major upside. To me, Alvin Kamara has the next best matchup after Saquon. Once again, at Pittsburgh at 8,600. After that, to me, the third best matchup would be Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, home, highly favored. Las Vegas needs to win after giving up the lead last week. So look for Josh Jacobs to pound that ball. 8,400 at home against Indy. Travis Etienne, he's in for a big spot as well. I think I favor the. No, I think it's Saquon. No, it's Saquon, Josh Jacobs, then Kamara, then Etienne. Travis Etienne does have a good match against KC. You can run the ball against KC, but when it comes to fantasy, his value will probably be just as high as Saquon because you need Travis Etienne to establish that run so he can keep KC off the field. It's one of those things that you just got to do. Jacksonville, like I said, if you remember from my looking at preseason lineup or whatever before week 1, I was definitely saying like I said, this team is good. They're on the rise. They've gotten better, new coaching staff and everything, and they're dedicated to Travis Etienne. They don't throw in the ball, which is sadly for fantasy output, but the man does get 20 plus carries, so that's all you can ask for going against Kansas City. You have to do your best to control the clock, keep them off the field, and just do your best to try to control that game flow. So when you have that, you're going to have over 20 rush attempts. You're going to have over 20 rush attempts in the last 2 games, 24 and 28. So look for Travis Etienne to look for the same, probably most likely at least 30 rush attempts because he's also been getting at least 30, 26 and 27. 2 weeks ago against Denver, 27 total touches. Against Las Vegas that they just won this matchup, he ended up with 30 touches. So if they're really going to, instead of just making Travis Etienne the favorite guy to just get the ball in that offense, guess what? Travis Etienne is not only going to be the favorite guy, but he's the necessary guy to control that game. Not to win the game, to control the game. Big difference. because you need to control the game to win the game in this game script. So Travis Etienne definitely going to be a good look at 8,000. 1,500. If you have a setup, if you have a setup where you somehow can't afford Barkley, which I think you really should try to find to. You know, like I said, not every lineup has to have that. Like I said, he's an expensive guy, but I think after that, 1,500 cheaper than Saquon is definitely worth a look if you want to, save 1,500 and put 1,500 elsewhere for that kind of matchup. On the flip side of that Saquon game, you got Damian Pierce. He's the workhorse. Giants do have a solid run defense, but he's definitely worth a good look at 7,700. You got Dalvin Cook at Buffalo, 7,500. The next best matchup there, Jamal Williams. He's still going to be the workhorse. Detroit Lions made a specific statement that they will be working DeAndre Swift slowly in. So the game against the Packers they just won is his second game back. So I don't expect whatever slightly increased workload that he gets, that Swift gets, is going to affect Jamal Williams at all. I expect Jamal Williams to be a solid play, a very solid play against Chicago, even on the road. Look for Jamal Williams to be in definitely lineups. Maybe you pair him up. Maybe you pair him up with Travis Etienne and Jamal Williams, and you save some money. Stay away from the Saquons and the Nick Chubbs. So Jamal Williams 7,400. Next, you got Dallas at Green Bay. Zeke is still questionable. So Tony Pollard looking good at 7,000. Once again, pay attention to the injury report, because if Zeke is healthy, he's definitely going to cut into Tony Pollard. And then you picking Tony Pollard, you're literally looking for Tony Pollard just to hopefully do as much as he can with his touches, because Zeke is, that's the guy who even though everybody says Tony Pollard is looking like the better back, they're gonna give the ball enough to Zeke to impact Tony Pollard's fantasy output. But just pay attention to that. Tony Pollard is also a solid player at 7,000. Like I said, I'm scrolling down now. Jonathan Taylor's right there at 7,000 as well. Ezekiel Elliott's also 7,000. But like I said, Jonathan Taylor and Zeke Elliott both dealing with injuries. Jonathan Taylor with that ankle twist. Zeke Elliott dealing with a knee/MCL. And next best, we're gonna go here. We're gonna go to David Montgomery, home against Detroit, 6,700. If you don't like that matchup, you can go to Jeff Wilson, who surprisingly took away touches for Mostert. He did look good, so maybe that could be a two-way monster. But the way they're passing the ball, I don't really think that should be anything to worry about. But hey, he's still a play for the people who want Mostert. Use Jeff Wilson as some leverage. Jeff Wilson 6,500. Like I said, Montgomery 67. As we keep scrolling down a bit, favorable matchups. Hey, if he can get some goal line look and some screen passes, he's a solid cheap value play. This is where the value comes in, and he's the first value that I see. Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 62 at Jacksonville. Like I said, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is more that combo back. He's not their workhorse pounded 20 carries a game. He's more of a 9 to 15 carry game, and maybe he could catch 3 to 6 passes. Clyde Edwards-Helaire can't break one. He's definitely worth it at this spot. KC at home. Well, like I said, Raheem Mostert, as you can see, FanDuel saw what I saw, because there's a significant gap between him and Jeff Wilson. Raheem Mostert went from 65 last week down to 59. You got Kareem Hunt backing up Nick Chubb at 58. You're only doing that to see if he takes, if he vultures from Nick Chubb. Khalil Herbert definitely gets a lot of looks. 5,800, the backup for Montgomery. The last couple of weeks now, Justin Fields just lit up the place last week. But Khalil Herbert is not just sitting on the bench. He is getting looks. The game script went crazy last week with Justin Fields doing what he did. But before that, Khalil Herbert, even with David Montgomery healthy, was still getting 7 rush attempts, 12 rush attempts, 16 attempts. It dropped down to 7. Justin Fields ran all over the place. And Khalil Herbert is the one. And Khalil Herbert and both David Montgomery both catch passes. I think either or. If you want to get slick and find some value and take a risk in a GPP, then Khalil Herbert is somebody that you would want to look at. And after that, I think I don't really see much that I like to really talk about. Not really. I don't really see much down here. I mean, it's an easier matchup for them. So if If Jonathan Taylor's out again, like I said, I smartly faded the chalk. I did. I probably had him in maybe 1 to 2 out of my 20 max lineups, and yeah, I wasn't touching Deion Jackson. Deion Jackson might be worth it this week going against the Raiders at 5,500. He's not. He's still bargain. He's not close to the flat minimum as he was last week, but they raised him up 5,000. They raised him up 500, knowing that there's a possibility that Jonathan Taylor could come back, and that's pretty much it. I mean, other than that, with the trade, Chase Edmonds just clogged the backfield now. He's at 5,100. With the other Bronco backs that are playing, Melvin Gordon and Latavius Murray are right next to each other at 5,700. So, who knows? All right, so let's go to the quarterback. Quarterback is another eye opener. Josh Allen. Now, on that last pass when the Jets were pressuring him and he got his arm pulled back, he has a slightly injured. They're looking at probably one of the tendons in his elbow to see if that's to see what's his status of that. So he's questionable right now. The way his arm kind of bend and flex when he kind of tried to throw the ball, he definitely got hurt. But Josh Allen's going to tough through that. If anything, Josh Allen will probably have limited practice to no practice just to rest that elbow. I definitely like Josh Allen on the comeback because angry Josh Allen and an angry Buffalo team that know they should have not lost that game, especially with an angry Josh Allen, angry Buffalo team going home. Now, yes, they're playing a good team in Minnesota, but I'm going narrative here. Angry Josh, angry Bills. Everybody feels that this is a Super Bowl team right here. They feel like this is a lot. So guess what? They're gonna come out and play like it. Now, whether they win or lose doesn't matter. We just want the fantasy points, and I think Josh Allen is a good choice. 9,200. Right under him, another good choice at home against Jacksonville. 8,500. Patrick Mahomes. What else you want me to say about Patrick? I mean, come on. Justin Fields jumped from where he was in the sixes and low sevens. He is now all the way up to 8,300. Why? Because he's home against Detroit. Enough said. Enough said. Justin Fields, whoever saw that game, however you saw it, you illegally streamed it, you got NFL Network, whatever you did. What Justin Fields did, I was saying, look out, everybody. Michael Vick 2.0. He had that kind of fantasy day. Tua, they're bringing him up. No more keeping him at 7,000, having the wide receivers both at 8,000. Tua is now over the 81 threshold, the 8,000 threshold. I think he was 77 last week, or was he at 8,000? But now they're bringing him up 81 at 8,100 home against Cleveland. Kyler Murray 7,800 at Los Angeles. Daniel Jones is a very good option at 7,500. You want to pay down because he could get you there with his legs with a little cheap stack. Dak Prescott, he's looking better, better, and better. He looks to be in midseason form after coming back 2 weeks after that injury. He's at Green Bay at 7,400. With the way I feel Buffalo is going to go at Minnesota, I think Kirk Cousins is a fine play because I think they're going to get down. They're going to need to pass the ball to Kirk Cousins. I'm worried about Dalvin Cook this week. Dalvin Cook might be a systematic fade, just the way I feel that game script might go. They're going to need him, but he might be a fade where I think Kirk Cousins is going to be looking for Thielen, Jefferson, and his new toy in T.J. Hockenson. And then, of course, that's not the best defense in the world, so Jared Goff, out in the open. Yes, it might seem a little bit different than from them being under that dome. But hey, Jared Goff is still going against a bad defense in Chicago. Once again, they traded, like I said, it wasn't even that good of a defense before, and they gave up, for those who didn't pay attention, they gave up their two best, what was it? I think it was a linebacker and a defensive back. Their two best defensive players up in the trade. So Jared Goff is also another nice value pick at 7,200. And after that, hey, you never know. You never know. But these guys here at the 7,000 range, a couple of them do look interesting. Trevor Lawrence is going to have to throw that ball. He's a good scrambler, too. Could he get there? He could possibly get you there at 7,000. 6,900 against Tennessee. I like Russell Wilson this week. Russell Wilson could get you there at 6,900. Andy Dalton against a bad Pittsburgh defense, he can get you there too. 6,800. And after that, right now, it looks like Tannehill's trending questionable, but we'll see about that. And then you got Matthew Stafford not having the best of seasons, but once again he does. They do throw the ball a lot. The volume's there. He's at 6,700 at home against Arizona, and I think that's pretty much it for the quarterbacks. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the quarterbacks. Shout out to my boy Godito Lucci on FanDuel, aka Luck, BK in the house. Talking to you. Would you like me to talk about Aaron Rodgers? I just Aaron? No. Oh, I can hear him yelling through the phone. Wait, what? I better not. Okay. All right. So we'll go to the wide receivers. Let's go to the wide receivers. Like he said, I better not. He won't be my friend no more, and he'll unsubscribe. Okay. Let's go to the wide receivers. Don't don't talk about Green Bay or I'll shoot you. Okay. Okay. You got to give your fans what they want. Don't talk about Green Bay. Lucky's gonna shoot me. Gotcha. Okay. And that is possible because Lucky knows where I live. Anyway, we'll talk about Cooper Kupp. He's Cooper Kupp. 9,200 against the Arizona secondary. Play. Buffalo against Minnesota. Like I said, it's an angry Buffalo, and that's not even a good pass secondary. On the road, they're at home. He's a play. 9,100. Tyreek Hill's 9,000. FanDuel and DraftKings are not playing no more. I think on DraftKings, and their salary is 50,000 total. I think Tyreek is 81 over there. They're not playing with us no more. They're gonna make you either single stack or double stack. I think the days of double stacking is gonna be over with that. I think they're trying to make it difficult. They're gonna try to make you pick either. They're gonna try to make you pick either or. Because if you didn't win the millie or whatever, if you had both of these guys within the past 4 or 5 weeks, at least the last 4 weeks and maybe week 2 of the season, you definitely cashed major, like in the top 50. Forget like just getting money back. You would definitely cash in whatever you were in the top 100. Justin Jefferson is 86. Justin Jefferson was just 9 G's last week, and his price went down. I like Justin Jefferson because I think the volume is going to be there. They're going to give him different looks, but to me, Justin Jefferson is one of those guys. He just matchup proof. I would take that risk. Yes, superstars do have bad games, whatever, but I feel that the game script, the volume is going to go to Justin Jefferson. I will have pieces of Justin Jefferson. No issue, no doubt about it. I will have no issues getting to Justin Jefferson at all. Not at all. Not at all. What is going on here? Why did this just do this? Okay. Just split windows. Devontae Adams. I said I liked Devontae last week for a bounce back. That's exactly what he did. I still like him against Indy. Like I said, they need a win, so look for the superstar. I understand the role players going to have to step up just for the team win, but a fantasy aspect, for the Raiders to win this game, Josh Jacobs has to have a big game, complemented by Devontae Adams in the air. That's it. Plain simple. Las Vegas should not have the record that they have. Let's move on. DeAndre Hopkins. It's going to be interesting because, yes, he will most likely garner the Jalen Ramsey matchup. I know a lot of people don't say, shouldn't be scared about Jalen Ramsey. I don't think Jalen Ramsey's washed, but he's susceptible to the deep ball and big plays. So, I'm just letting it go out there. Once again, I said these guys ain't going to be cheating no more. So now you got, like I said, you got Tyreek Hill at 9,000, and now you got Jalen Waddle at 82. You stack him with Tua, you go right on the header. I want to know what the hell the rest of your line is going to look like. Because the minute you pick that stack, you got to pick the worst defense. You got to pick the minimum defense. And you'll probably put a tight end as well. You have to. Like, let me see. If I do that right now, matter of fact, I'll do it for you right now. Just for some of you people who have not looked at the slate. Because this slate opened up last night while I was doing my hockey line. And, maybe I should start doing like some lineup stuff more anyway. Okay, so FanDuel, you have a $60,000 budget. You put in Tua, bang. That's just one player. I don't worry about the averages after one player. Tyreek, 9. Jalen Waddle, bang. Once you stack that, your average is 5,783. So that means automatically you would have to go deep. Let's just skip right now and let's go to defense right now. I know I'm just skipping this, but like I said, it was just a trend and talk in the fantasy world with DFS players that both sites I haven't played. It's been a while since I played in Yahoo, and like Super Draft is a whole different format. You don't worry about that. You just worry about you just worry about the multiplier in Super Draft. But if FanDuel if FanDuel and DraftKings both as a group up priced them a lot, then I'm pretty sure Yahoo did as well. So all I'm saying is to get the defense, I don't think it's you're already at 5,700. So I'm sorry. I mean, if you want to, unless value opens up, you can't be looking at the Dallas defense. To me, you got to be looking all the way down at like the 4,000s or whatever. And who's good right now? You know, I like picking low defenses to make that stack work to bring other things with it. Minnesota, Buffalo, Jacksonville, KC, Houston, New York. Houston played good defense against New York. They're not an explosive defense. Could they turn them over? Could Detroit do something against Chicago, but if Justin Fields runs on them? You don't want Cleveland versus Miami because you already got a stack against them. I guess your best option down here will have to be Houston at 3,400. That'll give you some salary relief. So that brings your average back up to 62. So you're going to have to work. So after Tua, Tyreek, and Jalen Waddle, if you pick Houston's defense against the Giants, then to fill up your two running back spots, another wide receiver spot, your tight end and your flex, you got an average of $6,260 left, a total of 31. It's workable, but they're straining your salary now. There's no more having Tua in the mid sevens, Jalen Waddle at the upper sevens, and then Tyreek the only, because that's what it's been like the last few weeks, with Tyreek inching up from the mid eights, from the mid low eights to now the high eights. No, they got him at 9. You're gonna have to make a choice. You're gonna have to make some decisions, but it can be done though. Just give you a little preview. Just giving you a little preview, and you know what? Since it's a little easier, I know I'm gonna be a little bit all over the place. Different bit of format on the episode. Why not? Let's talk about the defense. There's a reason why Dallas is 5,000. Dallas is 5,000 because that team that my friend doesn't like, he doesn't want to talk about, but that team that is green and yellow. That team that's green and yellow is playing Dallas, so you know that team that Lucky don't like. So Dallas is 5,000. That's why. That's why. The Las Vegas Raiders, they may not be the best defense, but they're going against a horrible quarterback and a perimeter offense at 48. Denver against Tennessee. There's a reason why they're the third top defense. Not only is Denver just a great defense, but they only got to worry about one guy, 4,700. Buffalo against Minnesota. Buffalo at home, like I said, we all know that they're angry, 4,500. Like I said, Denver's defense is improving, but Tennessee is at home against Denver. So maybe they could create some turnovers or whatever and slow down that Denver momentum after the big win in London, having a bye week all nice and rested. We'll see. We'll see if any rust comes out of that. Then the next one, KC is definitely a good pick, 4,300 at home against Jacksonville. New York is also a good pick against Houston because David Mills can throw some turnovers. Is pick six liable in MetLife Stadium? Yes, it is. After that, I like to go down to who's my next pick. New Orleans on the road against Pittsburgh, 3,900. Now we're getting into the budget territory where I like. Even though I think that defense is bad, it helps that if you have a primitive defense, a guy who can keep drives alive like Justin Fields is now, give them the rest. Don't have them on 3 and outs. They're a bad defense. You don't want a bad, tired defense on the field. For a nice GPP play, and golf is susceptible to turnovers as well, and maybe a little pressure. And once again, Detroit's one of those teams. They are different. They're just one of those teams that are different away than they are at home. Chicago is a GPP play. It could be a cash play if you're trying to fit some stuff in. But on the other hand, you can also flip that on the other side too. Detroit plays a lot of energy. Both teams are both well coached. So I like that as well. And like I said, I did bring up that up. Like, Houston does play tough defense. Lovie Smith has that team playing hard. You've heard me say this a few times. So they're a good option too. And like I said, if you're going with that Miami stack, fellas, you're gonna probably, like I said, unless value opens up and you're gonna go to Dallas, because if you go to Dallas I still got it here in my menu. If you go here with the Miami stack, then with Dallas, it's 5,900. You have 5,940 per player, but then it drops to under 30,000 left per player. So it's just some value that has to open up. And you know, I just went over the defense, so I'll go back to the wide receivers in a bit because once it's wide receiver, it's just a few tight ends I got to talk about. And this video is over, and I'm right around the 30-minute mark. Normally, the week preview FanDuel slate is normally like a 45 minute video, so I'm actually making good time. Let's see what happens here. You know what? We're actually going to try and build a lineup here, maybe. Well, like a mock lineup anyway. But I'm just shouting out ideas. But let's say you got the Tua with the double stack, Tyreek Waddle. You put in Saquon. Yeesh. Saquon drops your average salary to 5 G's. So you got 20,000 per player. That's going to be tough. So you're automatically going to be putting that tight end. Who's a tight end that's in the fours that we might want to use? Austin Hooper. Juwan Johnson's healthy. Evan Ingram, after having a dud, dropped down to under 5,000 against KC. They're going to be throwing that ball. That could work. Evan Ingram, Juwan Johnson. But yeah, it's going to be tough. So obviously, yeah, your lineup's going to look ugly if you put Saquon in there. You're probably going to have to do what I said earlier and go down 1,500 cheaper, something reasonable like Travis Etienne. And then after Etienne, drop down to maybe like Tony Pollard or maybe David Montgomery or something like that. Because, like I said, that Tua stack, FanDuel and DraftKings are not playing. Let's go back to wide receivers. Let's get back to what I was doing. We left off at the stack. After that, we have now if you skinny stack it with Tua and one of those wide receivers, you can come back and reverse it with Amari Cooper. He's a nice price at 7,800. After that, you also got CeeDee Lamb, 7,600. Like I said, Dak is looking healthier and healthier. No Michael Thomas, you know that's my boy. But Chris Olave against a Pittsburgh secondary, that's a great play. Nice play for 7,500. Juju's really building a repertoire with Patrick Mahomes. I've watched a bit of the KC games in the last 2-3 weeks. It looks like he's definitely the next dependable guy because it's been all year. Kelsey's the man, and then the ball gets spread out, and whoever seems to make the big play wins. Big play, gets the big play at that time. But right now, Juju seems to be taking over that spot over Scantling and Miko Hardman. Amon-Ra St. Brown, like I said, he's gonna get a lot of value because he's a big guy at 69. Now he is looking a little slower even after that high ankle sprain. So Amon-Ra is not 100%. He's definitely not. But the volume is there. And once again, it's a very weak secondary. Like I said, I know Detroit doesn't play the same way on the road, but I will still take Amon-Ra St. Brown. That kind of value at 69, man, please. I'm definitely doing that. Let me see. We can go down to you can also go down to Deontay Johnson, 6,600. New Orleans, like I said, New Orleans defense is not what it is or what it used to be, especially early season, then going down to last year. Once again, Gabe Davis, always a big play threat, down to 65. Jerry Jeudy against that horrible Tennessee defense, against that horrible Tennessee secondary. He's 64. His partner is 62. Cortland Sutton. They're both good plays. Look here, man. I don't know what they're gonna do here, but Brandon Cooks, his thing is up in the air. It has to be one of those. It has to be one of those things where he's just upset that he didn't get traded. Obviously, there was a whole bunch of news about him, like tweeting stuff about him not getting traded when it was out there that they were literally talking to teams trying to get him dealt because of his salary. I don't know if he plays against the Giants, but I like Brandon Cooks. If Brandon Cooks is on the field against the Giants, I'm playing him at 6,100. Darnell Mooney seems to be building repertoire now that the ball's getting thrown and Justin Fields is developing the pass. Didn't pass for much, but hey, Darnell Mooney caught a touchdown last week, 6,200 against Detroit. That's definitely worth a look. We'll keep looking. We'll keep looking a little more down. Adam Thielen. It's okay at 59. I mean, it seems fine because of the price at 5,900, but he's just not having the year. It's all about Justin Jefferson now. T.J. Hawkinson and just jumped up in there. I mean, Hawkinson went up in there and got 3 weeks worth of what he gets in targets in one game. Like literally just hopping on that team. You got Michael Gallup, Chase Claypool off the trade. Allen Robinson. Surprisingly, Allen Robinson has been getting more looks the last couple of weeks at 5,700. That could be a nice value play. You also got George Pickens at 5,600 for Pittsburgh. Yeah, the last couple of weeks he's been getting looked at quite a bit, and it doesn't show in the work. But having 5, 6, 7 targets in the last 3 weeks definitely shows a little repertoire done. And then yeah, he caught a touchdown a couple weeks ago. So yeah, a lot of good interesting pieces here. Like I said, it's a lot there. We're all excited that he got moved there, but Kadarius Toney, we don't know. There's a lot of mouths to feed in Kansas City. We're excited for him to go there, but we don't know what's gonna happen yet. On the injury front, you got Jarvis Landry. Dealing with an ankle injury. Josh Reynolds is still questionable with a back. Watch out for that. That's some wide receiver depth that you probably have to pay attention to there. One of the wide receivers from that team, ankle injury. Let's move on. Yeah. So tight end. Travis Kelce. What do you want me to say? Damn near matchup proof. 8,500. Just because he could run the gimmicks, and like I said, Pittsburgh is not the best defense. He sounds like he could be a play, and especially with no Michael Thomas, there's definitely more passes going his way or more option runs. Taysom Hill, 6,500. That seems to be what they're keeping him at. They're waiting for him to blow up again. He's been 6,500, I think, for the past 2-3 weeks, and if he hasn't been 6,500, he's been 6,300. They're keeping him there. Zach Ertz just been consistent. He's 6,300. TJ Hawkinson did not jump up as much even after that great game. 6,000 against Buffalo. Then after that, you start getting into the lower value. Everything from here is 59. Greg Dulcich is looking really good as a great athletic target. He's 59. He's definitely worth a look. Dan Waller, man, I'm not even a Raiders fan. I just want to see you healthy, man. That guy can ball. I just want to see Dan Waller healthy. And right now, his Q tag is almost like it's a doubtful tag. You got to wait to see if the doubtful just gets raised to a question mark. And that seems like an improvement to him. Because it just seems like he doesn't have any chance of playing no time soon. Pat Freiermuth, 5,600 value. Dalton Schultz looks like a really good value at 5,500 against Green Bay. Cole Kmet has been playing really well, and he has a very nice match against Detroit. The last couple of weeks, Cole Kmet has been getting more involved. He has 3 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks, 6 targets, 5 receptions for 41 yards. Before he was getting 1 target, 3 targets, 4 targets, but hey, the last couple of weeks, he's been getting there. After having 0, 5, 3, 2, 1s and whatever, the last 3 weeks, New England had 4.2, went up to 8.1, 19.5. Cole Kmet seems to be building repertoire, especially getting those looks in the red zone. After that, you always look at Dawson Knox. He's always a favorite red zone target for Josh Allen at 5,000 even. And then after that, like I said, a healthy Evan Ingram could be in for a bounce back. And like I said, Jacksonville, not only are they going to be controlling the ball, but they're gonna have to pass that ball. Jawan Johnson's healthy for against New Orleans, so they're looking good in that. And then after that, there's not really much. Once again, Irv Smith is still on IR. Like I said, Irv Smith will be back for a while, and that's pretty much it, guys. So that was just a quick, very quick, I think, quick and efficient video about the Week 10 slate. I'll be trying to come out with some other videos later in the week. So like, subscribe, leave a comment, and thank you for watching the Week 10 preview, and good luck this week. I'm gonna finish watching up my hockey slate, see how that's going, and this is Grade A Fantasy. Signing off.